It was October 14, 2016, and what a landlady in Akure, Ondo State, thought would be a routine eviction turned into one of the most disturbing discoveries Nigeria had ever seen inside a private home. A skeleton sitting upright in a bedroom covered with a cloth. And the man who lived there? He was not afraid. He was calm. He said his sister had simply gone on a journey. This is the story of Pastor Sunday Tobila, his sister Elizabeth, and the secret they kept hidden inside a two-bedroom flat for 6 full years. Let us start from the very beginning. The year was 2008. A man named Sunday Tobila walked up to a landlady in Peace Estate, Akure, Ondo State. He introduced himself as a bricklayer. He was polite, he was quiet, he was looking for a place to stay. The landlady found nothing wrong with him. She rented him a two-bedroom flat, and that was that. Sunday paid his rent on time in those early years. He went to work every morning like any working man. The neighbors saw him come and go. Nobody had any reason to complain. He was just a quiet, hard-working tenant doing his thing and staying out of other people's business. Then, not long after he moved in, Sunday brought his 2 sisters to live with him. Their names were Funmilayo and Elizabeth Tobila. 3 siblings living under one roof. Nothing unusual about that in Nigeria, where family members often share accommodation to reduce costs. The neighbors welcomed the new arrangement. The 3 of them were quiet, kept to themselves, and caused no trouble. Life in Peace Estate went on as normal. But in 2010, just about 2 years after Sunday moved in, something shifted. The neighbors began to notice that Sunday was no longer going to work. The man who used to leave early every morning and come back tired in the evening was now always at home. He had stopped his bricklaying job completely. One curious neighbor asked him about it. Sunday's answer was something many Nigerians would understand, even if it surprised them. He said God had called him. He said he had received a divine instruction to stop working his physical job and to focus instead on winning souls. He was now going to serve God full-time. The neighbor nodded and moved on. In Nigeria, where faith is a deeply personal and serious matter, people do not usually question someone who says God has called them. It happens. It is real to many people. So nobody pushed back. Nobody investigated. They simply accepted that Sunday had found a higher calling. And Sunday did not just talk about it. He acted on it. He went further than most people would have expected. By the time things really got going, Sunday had established a church. He called it the Glory of Deliverance Ministry. He became the general overseer. His sister Funmilayo, who had been working as a tailor in Lagos and earning her own income, also received what she believed was a divine call. She packed up her life in Lagos, left her tailoring work, and came to Akure to join her brother in his ministry. Elizabeth, the other sister, also threw herself fully into the church work. The 3 of them became a ministry team. They preached on the streets, they held church services on Sundays, they went door to door sharing their faith. For people watching from outside, they were simply a devoted Christian family doing what they believed God had asked them to do. Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed fine. Then, one day, Funmilayo disappeared. She was no longer joining Sunday and Elizabeth for their street evangelism. She was not showing up at Sunday services anymore. She was simply gone from public view. Neighbors who had seen her regularly began to ask questions. Where was Funmilayo? They hadn't seen her in a while. Sunday's answer was quick and simple. She had traveled. Family members who called asking about her got the same response from both Sunday and Elizabeth. She had traveled. She will be back soon. Do not worry. People believe them. Why would they not? People travel all the time. In Nigeria, it is common for family members to move between states for work, for family matters, for any number of reasons. Nobody had any reason to suspect anything darker. So life continued. Sunday and Elizabeth kept running their ministry. Funmilayo was gone, but her name came up less and less as time passed. 6 years passed. Now, here's the thing I want you to think about as we go into the next chapter. 6 years. That is 72 months. That is over 2,000 days. During all that time, neighbors walked past that house every single day. Family members called and received updates. Church services were held. People came and went. And no one knew what was sitting inside that bedroom. Before we go on, I want you to drop something in the comments section for me. Tell me, have you ever had a neighbor or someone close to you that later turned out to be hiding something dangerous? What was it? Write it in the comments. I want to read your stories. Your experiences matter here on True Crime Zone. 6 years after Funmilayo vanished from sight, in 2016, the problem that finally broke everything open had nothing to do with a tip-off or a suspicious neighbor. It had nothing to do with a police investigation or a secret informant. It had to do with unpaid rent. Sunday and Elizabeth had been running their ministry for years, and like many people who leave employment to do full-time religious work without a steady income, they had struggled financially. The church was not generating enough money to cover their living expenses. Month after month, the rent went unpaid. The landlady, a woman people in the area called Yalati, had been patient. She sent them reminders, she gave them time, she extended grace. But patience has a limit, and after over a year of unpaid rent, Yalati had reached hers. She made a decision. She would convert the 2-bedroom flat into smaller self-contained units that would be easier to rent out and more profitable. To do that, she needed Sunday and Elizabeth out of the property. She instructed the building's caretaker to proceed with a forced eviction. Sunday had nowhere to go. He had lived in that house for nearly 10 years. He stalled, he hoped for a miracle that never came. On the morning of Friday, October 14, 2016, the caretaker arrived at the property with several other people. They had given Sunday more than enough notice. Now they were there to carry out the eviction. They forced their way into the apartment. Nothing in their lives had prepared them for what they saw. Inside Sunday's bedroom, seated on a sofa and covered with a piece of cloth, was what appeared to be a human figure. When they removed the covering, they did not find a person. They found a skeleton, a complete human skeleton, sitting upright in the bedroom of a man who had been living in that house, sleeping in that same room for years. The people in that room froze. Some screamed, some backed away. The scene was so disturbing, so completely outside anything they had ever experienced, that for a moment no one could speak. Word spread through the compound quickly, then it spread through the neighborhood. People began flooding into the compound to see for themselves. It was, as witnesses later described it, as if the house had become a scene that people simply could not stay away from. Yalati and the others quickly grabbed Sunday and Elizabeth. They demanded answers. Whose skeleton was this? How long had it been there? What was going on? Here is where things became even more unbelievable. Sunday did not panic. He did not try to run. He did not beg or cry. He stood there and spoke calmly, as if the whole thing was perfectly normal. He told them the skeleton belonged to his younger sister, Funmilayo. Yes, the same Funmilayo who had traveled 6 years ago. The same Funmilayo's family who had been told year after year that she was away and would be back soon. She had never traveled. She had been in that bedroom the entire time, first as a body, then as the years passed and decomposition did its work, as a skeleton. The people standing there in that room could barely process what they were hearing. But Sunday was not finished. He had more to say, and what he said next would leave everyone speechless. He told them Funmilayo was not dead. He explained in a calm and steady voice that Funmilayo was on a spiritual journey. He said God had sent her on an errand. He said she was due to return that very year, 2016. He was waiting for God to bring her back. To Sunday, his sister had not passed away. She had simply gone somewhere on behalf of God, and the physical shell she left behind, the body that had long since turned to bone, was just her earthly vessel waiting for her spirit to return to it. No one in that room shared his belief. What they saw was a skeleton. What they understood was that a woman had been dead for 6 years while her brother told her family she was traveling. The police were called immediately. Both Sunday and Elizabeth were taken into custody for questioning. As investigators began working the case, the full picture of what had happened inside that apartment slowly came to light. This is the kind of content we bring to you every week here on Trem Crime Zone. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because if you leave without subscribing, the next story we post, which could be even more shocking than this one, will come and go without you ever seeing it. We upload regularly, and each story is researched, verified, and told the way it deserves to be told. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. Now, back to Sunday Tobila and the story of what really happened to his sister. When police sat down Sunday for a proper interrogation and later paraded him before journalists, the 38-year-old man gave a full account of everything. And what he described was not the account of someone trying to hide guilt. It was the account of someone who genuinely, completely, and without a single doubt believed in what he was saying. According to Sunday, Fumliyon had been receiving what he described as divine calls from God even before she moved from Lagos to join him in Akure. These calls became more frequent over time. Eventually, God directed her to leave her tailoring work in Lagos and dedicate her life fully to evangelism work. She obeyed. She gave up her income, her life in Lagos, and came to Akure to preach alongside her brother. For a period, the three of them, Sunday, Fumliyon, and Elizabeth, worked together in the ministry. But by July 2010, Fumliyon fell ill. Sunday said it was the physical toll of intensive evangelism work on her body. She had been pushing hard, going out to preach regularly, exhausting herself in the service of what she believed God had asked her to do. While she was sick and getting worse, Sunday claimed Fumliyon received yet another message from God. This one was different. This time, God was not asking her to preach or to pray. God was telling her He wanted to send her on an errand. God said she would not know when she would return. Elizabeth, the other sister, also received what Sunday said was a confirming word, a message that told her Fumliyon was going to go on a journey and that they should not be afraid because she would come back. Now, let us stop here for a moment. Any reasonable person hearing this would ask the obvious question. Why did they not take Fumliyon to a hospital when she was sick? She was getting worse. Her body was failing. What stopped them from calling a doctor? Sunday's answer to that question was the most chilling part of his confession. God had specifically told him not to take Fumliyon to the hospital. According to Sunday, God said her illness did not require medication. God said the Holy Spirit would handle it. Taking her to a doctor, in Sunday's understanding, would have been an act of disobedience to God. So, they did not take her to the hospital. They did not call a doctor. They prayed, they believed, and Fumliyon got worse. Then one day, she stopped breathing. Sunday described the moment plainly. Fumliyon was sitting in a chair when she passed. He and Elizabeth carried her inside and laid her on the bed. They prayed over her. They did not call the police. They did not call a doctor or a hospital. They did not inform their extended family of what truly happened. Because in Sunday's mind, she had not passed away. She had gone on the journey God had spoken about. And since God had promised she would come back, there was nothing to report. There was nothing to mourn. There was only waiting. So they waited. 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, then 2, then 3. Elizabeth told investigators that family members called regularly asking about Fumliyon. Every time, she and Sunday gave the same answer. She has traveled. She will be back soon. The calls kept coming. The answer never changed. Meanwhile, inside the bedroom, Fumliyon's body went through the stages of decomposition. Sunday later said that during the early stages, when the smell would have been impossible to ignore, God preserved them. He said God protected them from being disturbed by it. He said they were never afraid. Whether neighbors noticed anything unusual was never fully confirmed in public reporting, but somehow, for 6 years, no one investigated, no one forced their way in, no authority came knocking, until the rent ran out. Now, here's a question I want you to answer honestly in the comment section below. Do you think Sunday Tobela was mentally unwell, or do you think he knew exactly what he was doing and used religion as a cover story? Think carefully before you answer, because your answer says something important about how we as a society handle mental health and extreme religious belief. Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. After Sunday and Elizabeth were taken into custody, the Ondo State Police Command moved quickly. The skeletal remains of Fumilayo were carefully removed from the apartment and taken as forensic evidence. The two siblings were formally arrested and held pending investigation. The then Commissioner of Police for the state, who was briefed on the situation, publicly condemned what he called a strange and deeply troubling case. He stated that charges would be filed once the investigation was complete. As news of the case spread across Nigeria and beyond, reactions poured in from every direction. Some people were horrified, some were fascinated, many were deeply confused. Religious leaders weighed in, medical professionals spoke up. Ordinary Nigerians debated the case loudly on social media, in churches and in households. But a growing number of voices raised a different and important question. Were Sunday and Elizabeth mentally well? Psychiatrists and mental health professionals who commented on the case pointed to several signs that something beyond ordinary criminal behavior might have been at play. The belief that a decomposing body would return to life, the ability to live in the same room with skeletal remains for 6 years without distress, the calm, almost serene manner in which Sunday explained everything when confronted, the total conviction that he had not done anything wrong because he was following God's instructions. These were not the behaviors of someone who was simply lying or trying to cover something up. These were behaviors that suggested a possible break from shared reality, what medical professionals call a shared delusional state. When two or more people share the same fixed false belief, it is referred to in psychiatry as a folie à deux, meaning a madness shared by two. Both Sunday and Elizabeth appeared to fully believe everything they said. They did not crack under questioning. They did not contradict themselves with nervous lies. They simply described what they believed had happened as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Calls for a psychiatric evaluation grew louder as more details emerged. Many argued that sending Sunday and Elizabeth to prison without first understanding whether they were in full command of their mental faculties would be a failure of justice. If they were suffering from a shared delusional disorder, they needed treatment, not just punishment. At the same time, others, particularly members of Fumilayo's extended family, were less interested in medical explanations. To them, a woman was gone. A woman who needed medical care had been denied that care because two people decided God had told them not to seek it. Whatever the reason, Fumilayo had not received the help she needed, and that had cost her her life. Under Nigerian law, the legal questions were serious and multiple. Failing to report a death is itself a criminal offense. Keeping human remains in a private residence without proper authorization is illegal. If investigators determine that the failure to seek medical treatment had directly contributed to or accelerated Fumilayo's passing, Sunday and Elizabeth could face charges as serious as negligent homicide or manslaughter. The case also raised questions that went far beyond the courtroom. How many Nigerians, and in Africa more broadly, are suffering in silence because someone they trust has told them that God does not want them to go to the hospital? How many families are watching a loved one grow weaker day by day because a religious authority has declared that faith is the only treatment needed? How many Fumilayos are out there right now, denied basic medical care in the name of belief? These are uncomfortable questions, but they are real questions and they matter. The story of Sunday Tobila and his sisters is not just a crime story. It is a story about what happens when faith is taken to a place that human beings were never meant to go alone. Faith can be a powerful source of strength and comfort, but faith was never meant to replace medicine. Faith was never meant to be used as a reason to watch someone suffer without help. And faith was never meant to mean keeping a loved one's remains in a bedroom for 6 years while telling the rest of the world she went on a trip. Fumilayo Tobila was a woman who gave up her livelihood and her independence to follow her brother into a life of ministry. She believed deeply, she served faithfully, and when she needed help the most, the people who loved her most decided that God had said no. That is the tragedy at the center of this story. As you go about your life after watching this video, remember one thing. If someone you love is sick, get them help. It does not matter what you believe spiritually. Real faith and real medicine can exist together. You can pray and also call a doctor. You can trust God and also take your loved one to a hospital. These things are not in conflict, and choosing one over the other when someone's life is on the line is a choice that can never be taken back. Take care of the people around you. Check on your neighbors. Check on your family members. And if something feels wrong, if someone disappears without a proper explanation, if a story does not add up, if a loved one is being kept away from medical care, do not stay quiet. Speak up, ask questions, make noise. Because sometimes the most dangerous place for a person to be is inside a house where everyone on the outside has been told not to worry.
Thank you so much for watching this story to the end on Trem Crime Zone. This is the kind of story that stays with you, and I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you believe Sunday and Elizabeth were genuinely mentally unwell, Or do you think they used religion to avoid responsibility? Tell me honestly. If this story moved you, please like this video. It helps more people find this channel and hear these stories that need to be told. And if you are not yet subscribed to Trem Crime Zone, please do it now. We cover true crime stories from across Nigeria and Africa. Stories that are real, stories that are verified, and stories that carry lessons we all need to hear. New content drops regularly, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Share this video with someone today. You never know who needs to hear this story. Until the next one, stay safe, stay aware, and never stop asking questions.